Morning everyone, in from DIY Home and Gardening. 2nd of June, unbelievably. How have we got to June already? 7:30 in the morning, just sort of get up to allotment, do this video before going to work, and it does actually look as though the sun might come out. Who knew? Anyway, if I turn the camera around and we can have a look as to how things are progressing, or not. So I've actually been up here twice this week. Came up for about 2 hours on Tuesday and then came up for an hour last night. On Tuesday, went through, did a bit of mulching just to, try and bulk up the soil in here and to hopefully liven up this rhubarb. Anyway, the black currants, there's a few on there, not a lot. Gooseberries though, I'm pleasantly surprised by this because I didn't think I'd get any fruit this year on this, given the fact I only moved it last year up to this plot. I mean, they're going to be small, but that's pretty good. Last night I had to do some proper cutting back on this artichoke because it had been absolutely crucified by the wind. All the branches had snapped, all the stems, as you can see, they'd been snapped and then gnawed on by the slugs. But so I've had to really cut back a load and then cover over some of the base because it started to rock a little bit. But I'll show you in the top there, got some bud, loads of black fly, Christ. But absolutely, it could be a decent crop. Just need to work out what to do with him, to be honest. Also last night cut back the perpetual spinach, just to give the tomato a bit more space. I think, we got one sweet pea hanging on there, about an inch worth of sweet pea still alive in there. I planted this salvia on Tuesday just to see, hopefully see a bit of colour up here and give the insects something to get into. I'll carry on this way. So this bed is starting to look better. The corn, this is the mini popcorn, starting to see some fresh growth through the centres, despite them looking a little bit anemic, but that's just down to where it's so wet. These are all chickpeas, so they're starting to do something. The beans are all a bit scorched, but they should pull through. Got a couple of little lots of radish coming through. Beetroot finally starting to put some growth on, which is good. Tomato, bit of a lean, but doing its thing. Those lot there, all the carrots, finally making an appearance. With this lot being the parsnips, so they're looking decent. Cut all the scapes off the shallots. Tomato planted in there, a little bit of support for the peas. Can't see any flower formation on them as yet, but fingers crossed. And then this purple leaved thing is pak choi. So they went in last week, and albeit they look a bit scrappy, they are starting to produce a bit of fresh growth. So quietly confident that they will now grow without being eaten totally by the slugs. These are massive, which is why the cover came off. So they're the Taunton Dean kale, and I originally started with 3 and I lost 1 to slugs, so I've taken a little cutting, and that's, I started it off in the composty bit actually, so it has got some roots. So that's been in about a week over here, but it has actually got a bit of root formation. Beetroot sowings, well, a lot of those got eaten, but they are hanging on in there. Let me go round to the other side. Kohlrabi, not all of them remain, but most do, which is a bonus. Planted these last night, so this is a little block of perpetual spinach, and basically I have infilled where the garlic is, because the garlic will soon be coming out. Elephant garlic, finally, amazingly, not the cloves, the corms are starting to sprout. So it obviously was just down to, well, being too cold for it. Now, well, I know how crazy this might sound if you're watching this and you're in the UK, but now we've got some warmer weather, they're starting to sprout. But, you know, I'll be pleased if it does grow enough to then replant come the autumn. But other than that, oh, these rounds want. So this round has got scape to it. Let's see if I can do these. So with the scapes, literally just snap them, because otherwise all the goodness are going to this flower production, which we don't want. See if we can get hold of that one. And if you leave them on, say, the flower production will then hamper bulb production, so we take those off. You can cook them and they are really nice if you do them with a little bit of oil. Just serve it up a bit like asparagus, really. It's very garlicky, but it's lovely. But anyway, that would mean me taking the cover off, which I cannot be bothered to do just for those. So that's this lot here. They're the elephant garlic grown from cloves as opposed to the corms. Look how wet this is. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous still. Gave this bed a good old weed the other day. So shallots, a spring cabbage, kind of half a spring cabbage. Egyptian walking onions, they're looking good. Getting some nice heads to them with decent bulb formation. The other shallots, which can't think what it is. I have to go around. It's the white bulbing one, French variety. So these are griselles, which are meant to be very nice. We shall see. And then these are Hermine, which is a newer variety. Say a white bulbing form. And as you can see, they look really strong actually. I am impressed with that. So yeah, good contender I think. Also on Tuesday I planted a little block of peas. Does look like something's had a bit of a go on some of them. Indeed, slugs there, bloody things. This got done about a week ago, or redone. So went through, planted a load more of the Cavolo Nero, the black kale, to essentially replace all the ones that got eaten, barring those two. And then I've interplanted with some onion. Right, can't think what the onions. Oh, Kelsey, that's what it's called. So onion Kelsey, so that's the giant ones. I've also got growing at home some more of this red Russian kale. There we are. Again, to replace everything that got eaten in here. I mean, but look at the size of that. Now, I really wanted to grow this variety because it's another one that is borderline perennial, in as much as it lasts for a good 2 or 3 years much like the Cavolo Nero does. So that's why I really wanted to grow this one. And you can see when the slugs aren't eating it, it really gets going. You'll notice around the plot there's a few random nasturtiums starting to appear, and that is really because of, well, using the compost, that, you know, homemade compost, and check that out for a nice crop of nasturtiums. Now also what I planted last night in here, which they've made it through the night, I've planted 3 of the watermelon in here. So I've got quite a lot of the watermelon. This is Sugar Baby, so just see how they do really. But I don't know, I mean, it looks all right. It's not been eaten by a slug, so that's a bonus to begin with. But it'd be quite nice to have some watermelons growing up here anyway. But yeah, I digress. So that's why there's so much nasturtium growing everywhere, is because it's seeded and come out of the compost as well. Got run of leek autumn giant growing there. And with leeks, in case you're not aware, there's no point in setting all your leeks out where you want them to grow, so to speak. So what most people tend to do, and I do the same, is just find a random spot where you can plant your seedlings. And then once we get sort of another month on, essentially, you can then lift them out of your random spot and then plant them out as you intend them to grow. And they'll come out really easily, and they produce such thin root that it makes it very easy for lifting and transplanting. Now this bit's just had a good old weed. Looks like the birds like perching up here. Sweet peas. Now sweet peas, I had planned they'd come all the way up here. Look absolutely bloody amazing. That's how I thought they'd look in my mind. Yeah, they might get to the first rung. Who knows? This side, look at even worse. And yet, the ones that were planted the week later are, well, doing really well. So let's go round. Oh, actually, I'll show you these. So this is my sort of trough planter. This was my way to contain the Jerusalem artichoke, because it absolutely went crazy in the bed it was last year, despite only being 2 plants. Little ladybird there. So yeah, it went absolutely crazy being 2 plants. If any of you have seen the videos from last year, you'll know. And when you're trying to dig it out, well, I went down absolutely, yeah, good 18 inches. Still found shoots of it, and even in the spring found shoots of it. So this is my way to contain it. And also I wanted something to give me a bit of privacy, a bit of shelter. And so what I thought was grow this here and almost tie it as a bit of a hedge. So, well, flowering hedge. So I think that will look really good once it starts to get going. No bud formation as yet. And then intercropped with garlic. And actually, strangely enough, these garlic look pretty clean, or very clean. So yeah, no rust on those, which is interesting. So this bed, well, it does need a weed, but quite frankly I'm not going to bother, because I'll be lifting soon, hopefully. So we've got the first early potatoes, broad beans. I've not even seen if there's any. Oh, look at it. Yeah, there are. A few beans starting to appear, which is good. A few nasturtiums appearing as well. Second early potatoes. So that one rotted. There was a second one that kind of rotted, but actually it's you know, shot up in a different spot, and so you can see the sweet peas, they're climbing up, which is good. That's how much water we've had inside a month, which is crazy. Now this bed, one of the sorry beds, but Welsh onions. Now I'm going to leave them for a little bit, and then I'm going to cut them back hard and get them to then flush up with some nice fresh growth. I'll wait until, well, probably another week, and then cut them back. The onions, what's left of them, some of them are starting to produce bulb, some of them not, most of them not. I keep saying it, worst crop of onions I've ever grown. Scent shoes, I mean, these absolutely amazing ones, not. Red winter, rubbish, absolutely rubbish. There's not going to be anything really worth having there. Autumn giants, well, don't see anything giant about those. Now onto the garlic, and look at these. So the ones that I showed you earlier next to the Jerusalem artichoke, nice and green, lush. These full of rust, and I had really hoped that they could hang on another fortnight, but I don't think so. Certainly there's quite a few going over. I did pull just to have a look. I mean, there's a lot you can see it's starting to keel over now, so I think I'm going to have to pull them this week just to be on the safe side. But it does depend on what the weather forecast is. I mean, if the forecast is for a week of good weather, then they might actually hold for another week, and the longer they can stay in the ground the better, because it's going to give a chance to bulk up. But I have got a new plan where I've grown so many pumpkins, and I was thinking about getting a second plot over there. What I'm thinking now, look at the sheep, look at Ron. Let's head right through there. Oh, Ron, head right through getting those. Let's help him out a bit. Here we are, mate. Oh, needs to get in quick before the others join. Anyway, what I was thinking is when these come out, these two, I'm going to set out pumpkins into one of these beds, whichever way, to then grow upwards or downwards, whichever bed I do first, and make use of this space. And then when the potatoes come out, well, that will be my salad bed as still intended. Dahlias, so dahlias have gone in. In this lot, just got 10 varieties, 3 of each. Had to give them a good old soak last night. They're in desperate need of a feed, but because it's been so wet, I didn't really want to do that on top. But that's going to be my Tuesday job, as is caning them properly. So, get at least setting out all the cane supports. So that's the dahlias. This is my Three Sisters bed. Got one corn there that doesn't look too happy, and that is where having a few spares comes in. So I'll probably lift those and replace that one. Courgettes, got a flower on it. And the beans, again, the difference is, and so this is why I put this cover over actually. The beans that are under this cover, it doesn't matter which lot you look at, are looking decent, no scorch. And yet these ones, all scorched up. And same for the sweet corn as well. Just this insect mesh, a lot of the time I use it I'm not using it for the keeping the insects out, because obviously this is a temporary thing because the sweet corn's going to get far too big. But I just tend to use it as a bit of a shade. It works really well. And when I grew the beetroot last year, I grew that under shade. Yeah, little bird over there. Hopefully eating some slugs. So yeah, the beetroot did much better under shade as well. But yeah, it needs a little bit of a weed because these have been planted out for a few, 2 or 3 weeks now, maybe 3 weeks. But you can see how much growth they've put on. They're about a foot high now. So they're looking decent. And with the courgettes, they're going in different directions. So a couple one way, one other, just to sort of grow the way that I want them to do. Did this on Tuesday, so had this rope given to me. It's from abseiling, and the intention originally was to use it in the cucumber or for the cucumbers at home, but I mean the rope's too strong, so or too heavy. And mate, it's the boys. They're only here because they think I've got food. Anyway, the rope I thought was going to be too heavy, so I brought it over here. I'm using it to support the tromboncinos, which, despite being a bit scorched up, they seemingly are liking the wet. These are the yukikuri squash. Just planted tomato in the middle. These are, what are these? Oh, Turk's turban squash. I've got some nasturtium there for sort of adding a bit of colour and enticing the pollinators in. Another tomato there. Got my set up for runner beans. And that is essentially planted alongside butternut squash. And then we'll just have a quick look. So these are starting to produce decent berry. That's the blueberries. That black currant on the other hand, doing nothing. But that is how things are looking on the 2nd of June. Now I carry on at the house. Right, back at home. Thought I'd show you a few bits as well as the fruit veg. Cornus white dame. Garden's starting to look alright, needs a bit of a grass cut, but so blackberries, Wichita, starting to put on the new growth. Plenty of fruit coming, well absolutely loads of fruit coming. Obviously it's been very wet, so perfect for it. Apples. Getting to the point where we're going to need to thin some of them out. I don't think there's any, oh, there's one. Don't say any pears, but this is the one that was given to me, so yep, 1 pear. I'll settle for that if it comes through. Again, needs a bit of a weed. Oh, let's show you these. So rhubarb doing its thing. This is the wild garlic, so I'm leaving it to go to seed because I want to try and raise some from seed, see how that goes. Got the other stuff down there. Yeah. Yeah, bit of fig formation. So there, the ginger. Obviously not enjoying the fact that it's been so cold. Green basil, purple basil. Loads of gooseberries. got given that Japanese cucumber. Be interesting to see how that does. So this one here is struggling or dying, probably both. I think it's just where last week it was so cold and windy and just got to it really. Anyway, these are the cucumbers. You can see they've really come on. They're the taller peppers. I've had to stick them down there because they're touching the roof, but most of these are touching the roof. So that's the job for this week, to get all those potted. Pumpkins across the top here. They're probably going to need potting again, definitely. Have a lot of melons there. Trying to get in without falling over. So those down there are the tomatillos. First year of growing those, so interesting to see how they do. That tray there, that's the turmeric that lifted and divided up. More pumpkins. Oh, dahlia cuttings. I actually sowed some seed last night, which is in there, of Bulgarian leek, which is meant to be a giant leek, but we shall see how that does. Let's get out of here. Strawberry tower, filling out nicely. Now this, Narangilla or Solanum. So if you've watched videos in the past that I've done, you'll know that it has to be bee pollinated. You can't can't hand pollinate any of these. So the bees have actually been active and got some fruits for me and some fresh growth. Tomatoes. Now I'll show you from this angle. So they all got tied and side shooted where applicable last week. Last of the dahlias, well, a couple of melons, but I've given away most of the dahlias now. Oh, let's show you this just because it's interesting. So this is my carnivorous planter. Yeah, that's a flower from one of the Sarracenias. Lovely. And what's left in here in the cold frame, got the celery, which they're now starting to put some growth on, so I need to think about planting those out. Perennial, some perennial, fennel in the top there. That was intended as my tegites as companion planting, but the slugs ate most of them, so got a bit of beetroot, some more leeks. There's the kale red Russian, some lettuce, and some rainbow chard. And that's it. That is 2nd of June update. So yeah, that's it. 2nd of June update done. Certainly plenty of stuff coming on, and just need this weather to hold a little bit. Even a few days or a week of sun would really help things come on, not come alive, but come on, and then can actually get some feed in the ground as well without fear of it being washed through by the rain. If you've got any questions, then obviously send them to me. I'll do my best to answer them for you, or share a few planting ideas or things for me to grow. That'd be much appreciated. If you do like what I'm doing, then please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to hit that reminder button so you don't miss out on future videos, and above all else, just enjoy yourself, have fun, and well, hopefully not suffer too much with hay fever like I am this morning. But until next time, bye for now.